This is the Levels of Value podcast, and you're here today because you're not a knucklehead. You know there's a glass ceiling that has to be smashed so you can acquire skill set, gain mastery. So I'm going to bring on an expert with social media marketing and with stylish omnipresence to have business coaching. We're going to be showing you some levels into entrepreneurship, social media marketing, and much more. So online coaches, digital marketers, and go-getters. When I use the word go-getters, what that often means is people who are achievement-driven, to the people who appreciate the idea of a meaningful impact, excited by the result of financial independence. So everybody, welcome to another episode of Levels of Value. On today's episode, we have probably the most interesting woman in the Western world, an out-and-out business coach and digital marketer. Lindsay Anderson has spent the majority of her humble beginnings in a nuclear site in a desert in the middle of nowhere, with a constant fear of sipping the water because nuclear waste seeping into the environment. And yeah, relentlessly fighting, she pivoted into the digital marketing, now up to date to find her own lane within business coaching online. After a string of surprising, crushing failures, she went on to be one of Portland's top business owners, trailblazing in her million-dollar company where she led a successful reinvention. She was featured in the first season in the Netflix series called The Trust, and she's also spoke with the legendary Les Brown within the last year to her intuition, her strategies, and embracing AI has enhanced marketing outcomes. So yeah, Lindsay Anderson, welcome.
Richard, what a pleasure to be on the show. Thanks for the intro.
Yeah, researching you is very, very enlightening, Lindsay. Are you playing to win? I heard you talk about playing to win right now, playing to win right now. So that interested me, Lindsay, because tomorrow's not promised, but I also understand where people have talked about playing to win for the long game. So tell me, where is this coming from? Is there something that we're missing? Is it one or the other? And yeah, what's the positioning looking like?
To play to win?
Yeah, playing to win.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. So, at least in business and from my perspective, okay, there might be some unicorns out there that didn't plan and didn't like they were luckily fall into it, but my view is that you have to make a plan in order to succeed. And that includes daily habits, that includes what's my long-term plan, that includes being real strategic about it. And where people run into a problem is they're so passionate about their businesses that they lead with their intuition and they lead with their feelings. And ultimately, that's going to get you in a cycle of excitement and depression, and then you'll burn out.
Okay, okay. That's interesting. Playing to okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So with this idea now of exponential growth, right? Is it really a compound effect then, or like what's going on here? Is it going up or is it linear? Long-term thinking when we now hear the idea of exponential,
Yes.
exponential.
Yeah, exponential growth, definitely. And that's when you start getting, well, let me answer your question. So, for those that are listening, because I know this is a podcast, what most businesses do is they're kind of like flatlined at the very beginning. And this is where a lot of people give up. They might have a couple of winning bumps in there, but a lot of people give up just flatlining. Like we know most businesses fail. So, this is why. But if you get the right systems in place, you understand who your target market is, you understand how to speak to them, and you have a high quality product to sell them, and you start building systems that will allow you to really reach that target demo and then process them not only from a sales and marketing perspective, but give them a really, really great experience. Well, that's where the exponential growth comes. And so that comes down to documenting what you're doing, creating systems, being McDonald's about it, and replicating everything that you're doing as much as possible to the T, like to the little minuscule detail, because that's how you save time, that's how you provide value, and that's how you can really get results for your customers.
Yeah, that's freaking epic. That's freaking epic. Like we hear about exponential growth like it's this magical curve that keeps rising, but is it really compounding for everyone or yeah, and I remember one experience which I had, which came to mind as I was playing this podcast. We was if you've got children, I'm not sure if they're into sports, but we call it soccer here in the UK. And our football team, we had good players, but we playing together is a different situation, right? You can have good people, but playing as a team it's another situation. And well, people knew that. So when in secondary school, when I'm playing against another football team, we were so bad as a unit that they were taking the mickey out of us. They put like their goalkeeper in that position, that person in that. They were just absolutely taking the mickey out of us. And despite being so bad, when it came to the half point period, we was up by 3 goals to nil. Right. And obviously I'm looking back, I'm smiling. You know that look what you give when you do like the eyebrow thing, that the 10 out of 10 look. I was looking at some of them, like giving them trying to do this sort of look. And then after half time, I kid you not, they put everyone back in the correct position. And then yeah, the match finished 3-3. So obviously I'm scratching my head at the end. I'm there like, wow, it doesn't matter how bad we was at the end of the day, if you're not positioned properly, you might not come out of this thing at the other end as a winner.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, people really underestimate Richard, and I think it's a big disservice about people underestimate how hard it is to run a business. Like, I don't mean to rain on anyone's parade, but like, there are things you do not want to do. I find the more like self-disciplined I got around business, doing those things that I wasn't naturally inclined or wanting to do, the better the business did. I trained myself to like a lot of things in my business that for the first way too long, okay, 5, 10 years, I'm like, that's not me. I'm here for freedom. I only do what I want to do. And like that will only get you so far. And so that's what it is. For me, business success equals self-discipline. And let's self-discipline of like reaching out to your network on social media, doing those things you want to do, no matter how you feel. And I don't want to be crass. Feel your feelings, but like also step into this way of being that I'm a pro, and no matter what's going on, my business is important to me and I will follow through on these tasks, just like I do when I work out, because I want health in the long term.
That makes sense. You're positioning yourself for success, like period. You know, success is defined as a place where
It's a
preparation meets
mindset. Success is a mindset. It's how I put on my pants in the morning is successfully.
the audience and myself. That silver line the clouds and the difference between marketing and sales. You're positioning with that.
The difference between marketing and sales, oh, that's a big one. Okay. That is a huge one because most people think they're kind of combined. I've ran a digital marketing agency for long enough to know that if they do not have a strong sales team on the other side, no amount of marketing is going to just fix that. Okay. And so this is very distinct. And I was disserved at the beginning of my career because I can be fairly charismatic and anybody that I like talk to really likes me. So I end, not everyone, okay, of course, if you've seen The Trust, you know that that's the case. However, I found sales very natural and very easy to come by. So I'm a marketer, and all this time I'm thinking I'm also a good salesperson. But when you start reaching out to a cold audience, when you're not face to face, then it becomes a whole lot harder. And actually, sales is a skill. You have to learn about people and how to handle a conversation and how to, work through these problems and present your solution. It is a skill set that I had to learn, and I learned way too late. It should be, I know I'm going on here, but it should be the first skill set any business owner learns, in my
Uh,
opinion.
this is good, Lindsay. I like it when you go on. You're getting comfortable.
I know, Richard, you bring it out in me. You know that?
Let's go. Let's go. One thing which I admire about you, yeah. Also, you mentioned the trust, but forget all the hype. I'm just gonna push the envelope out there. You're
Yeah.
willing to spend a lot of money to like build relationships, right? To kind of like move you on this timeline of your life. And I think that's big. Like, is it normal to you, Lindsay, and your family, or is it more unique to you?
So to do what? To use relationships? Is that what you said?
Yeah, to build relationships, you're willing to spend a lot of money, energy,
It's
time. Is that
interesting.
you and your family, or is it unique to you?
Yeah, so this is really, really interesting. Well, my kids are like younger. They're all pretty personable though. Yeah, they're all pretty my husband's also charismatic. Anyway, here's the thing though, okay? About that question. Um, Hold on, I lost my train of thought here, Richard. You got me going on something there. Oh yeah, relationships. Let me tell you why I double down on relationships and why it is the foundation of everything I teach. And I would say I'm going to give you the ending here is that you cannot build a successful business without a focus on relationships. Like as much as I don't want to tell you this, it's all about who you know. Like quite literally. I tried to market myself out of that fact. I thought I was such a good marketer. I don't need to worry about relationships and like connecting with people. I'm so good at marketing. But ultimately, it's crazy how much it comes down to that. Has that been your experience, Richard? It's all about who you know.
Once you I'm like 50-50. It's about who you know. And then once I started doing social media, I also, I guess, not replaced, but updated my software to also embrace. It's also about who knows you, you know? Like,
Yes. Yes, but
when you're in this
yes.
group, if you have something to say, and you do get it off your chest, because you might value someone, you might have something good to say, but it does no good for you or them if it's just on your mind. It might do them the world of good, and it might, okay, they said that to me, you know what I mean? So now they know you because you actually did say something that was on your mind. So
I
yeah,
love
that's
the way you put that. I love the way you put that. Yeah, relationships, focus on those. Where I tell my customers, where intention goes, energy flows. And so manage your relationships, write them down, care about them. Don't just carry them around in your head and think it'll all like work out.
yeah, facts. Speaking of also now relationships, you invest in other people. If you're investing in yourself, is it true you spent almost 75K on coaching at one point?
Oh, it's been way more than that. Okay. It's been a lot. So the very first time I even heard of a coach, I was like, I got flown to California because I was at my wit's end. Like my web development company wasn't making any money and I was struggling. So I was on podcasts and I get on with this business coach and I'm like, I've been in business for 7 years and I've never heard of this thing called a business coach because I was just like grinding it out. And so I'm on there. It's the first person that I felt like had ever understood my trials. And he was like, I have a event next week in California. Do you want to fly out? I had two really small kids at the time and I had no money. And I was like, yeah. So I go, I'm surrounded. You guys know how this is. This is awesome. I go to all these all the time, right? It's a mastermind and it's a coaching thing. And so I end up buying a $50,000 coaching program from this gentleman. And it was awesome. It taught me the foundation. It was amazing. So my first purchase was $50,000. I once spent $85,000 on a high ticket sales coach to understand the ins and outs of high ticket sales. That's why my passion for sales really shines through. So yeah, I drop it, Richard, and it comes back. It comes back. And I can go into that if you want to know more, but it always comes back.
Hang on, so yeah, okay, cool. We're going to what are you doing with this? Is it like first you do it and then you find mastery and then from then you develop the systems or
Yeah, it's a great question. And so a lot of, the coaching industry, especially after COVID, like it got a lot like it gets a bad rap because a lot of bad actors showed up during COVID and then people got real burned. And so now it's way harder to sell coaching because everybody's a coach. And I was saying that because oh yes, and so a lot of people will like do these coaching programs and they'll be like that was a waste or that coach sucks. And my view on any investment I've ever made on coaching was it's about me. Like here is an expert and maybe his program's not the best. Maybe he doesn't have the things I am going to utilize as much time as possible to glean the information from him instead of waiting around for him to feed me and get what I need from this individual. And that kind of attitude towards coaching has always paid off greatly for me. And so I will hire a coach and I will, as I said, I will glean everything from them and systemize it. I will put it in systems and figure it out and ask them questions. I am very focused and I'm usually like the best in all my coaching programs, Richard. I mean, that's how I handle it so seriously.
no, I've got to respect it. I'm thinking of a quote. If you or anyone who watches this podcast can remember, put it in the comments. It was something about standing on the shoulders of giants, and that's how I feel like.
Yeah.
You ever heard anything like that? There's a quote there.
Yes,
If
I
you
know
want to go,
exactly what you're talking about.
yeah. I thought that's what that reminded me of in that moment. So now fast forward in your journey. How the flip did you land on Netflix?
How exciting is that? I still get excited to this day about that experience, Richard. I'm just like, was I really on Netflix? That's insane. Because like that's not my career path. That's not, what I ever longed to do. In fact, they found me on social media. So one day I get an email and it says, Lindsay, we have a reality show that you'd be perfect for. We saw you on social media. Do you have a passport and can you leave in 3 weeks? And I was like, and they were like, with some questions, it was like Big Brother style. And yes, my children can watch it. So like, I'm like, okay. So fly out to the Dominican Republic and am on this Netflix reality show. So I mean, I can tell people about it if you'd like. I don't know how far down that rabbit hole you want to go there, Richard.
This straight. You, they found you
Yeah.
because you was on social media, just doing your thing.
Yep.
Like you said, it wasn't your career path. You wasn't in some drama school. You was simply being the best version of you, posting content on social media, and another opportunity just landed out from the sky in your lap.
Dude, it happens all the time. Okay. Like you mentioned Les Brown. I'm on Les Brown stage because of my social media. I just spoke to 1,000 Real Estate, the number one real estate agency in Detroit, because they saw me on social media. Like these things, if you just show up consistently in your expertise, people will see you. And, the craziest thing about that show, and this is on point, is that I was on that show with people who were social media influencers like for realsies, and they had audiences that far outnumbered mine. But ultimately, I was the one who was making all the money. They couldn't ever figure out how to monetize. And so it's about just showing up consistently, knowing who your audience is, and having those relationships. And so my vanity metrics, okay, didn't matter. I was literally the only one making money.
Yeah, that's the point I wanted to highlight to someone who's watching this, and just the chance that you have right now with social media and the opportunities that can come just from like posting content and getting yourself out there. Opportunities will come, but you've got to be what's that? How Gary Vee says it: if you want to be seen, then be seen. And social media in this day and age allows you to yeah, position yourself in the middle of success. That's epic, and congratulations on that, Lindsay. That was
Thank you. And
crazy.
and, and you know, here's the craziest thing, just what you were just saying. The craziest thing, and I guide business owners through this all the time. I help hundreds of business owners with this social media thing, is that you get on social media and you like try and you're just like, this has got to work, and you have like this like contraction about it. And like it's not working that great. And it's almost like, Richard, the second people stop caring, they're just like, you know what? I'm just posting to post because that's what I was supposed to do. Then all of a sudden the floodgates open, like the second they stop grasping. And so just put it out there. Don't focus on vanity metrics. Focus on consistently putting your message out there. And like you have to almost prove it to yourself first. Like I can do this for 3 months or for 6 months or for whatever until that grasping stops and then the floodgates open. Does that make sense?
Not for real action. You're taking action, you're doing the thing, and then comes the power, right? You're
Yeah,
doing the
you have to do it first for
then comes
you.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
that 100% sense. With mastery, right? You've got this so you're doing it, then you start finding your mastery. Tell people about your VEMS method, right? What's the blend where we're posting or posting not enough, right? Where people can get to know us. Like that perfect blend of, it's not getting too weird or not leaning too much on propaganda. You've mastered it, and yeah, I want people to know about this VEMS model.
Yeah, it's really important. Back to the reality show. There's a big difference between posting on social media like a business owner and posting on social media like an influencer. Influencers are chasing the eyeballs and how long can I get people to stay and how cute is my cat or what's the latest UFO situation? Okay. And like all of those get views. Like it's super easy to put personal stuff out there and your kids out there and your pets out there. And I love it too. Okay. I've been down that road. But ultimately, that kind of posting does not position you as an authority, does not get you in front of your right target market. It only gets you in front of people who care about you and people who like dogs or kids or whatever you're posting about. It's not your ideal client. And so they are pulled to these vanity metrics. They are pulled to, I don't want to put this video out there that's not of my cat because it will not get the 20 views my cat gets. And, it pulls at them. I was just talking to a real estate agent that was just like, my kid pictures are the only ones that get any traction. And I was like, do they even know that you're a real estate agent? Like, do you ever even mention this? He's like, no, because every time I mention it, no one likes it. But that's when the buyers start watching. And so, business owner versus influencer. And I do have a 4-step system that I'm going to outline. So, you're a business owner if you post VEMS, okay? Vibe. Of course, this is a little bit about you, your energy, what your business stands for, and your brand. Okay. E is experience. Who are you helping? Tell me some customer stories, a day in the life. Like, what does it look like to be you? Methodology. How do you help people? It is so much easier to stand apart from everybody else in business if you're not selling yourself. Like, hey, do you guys like and trust me? It's a lot easier to sell a system. For example, I have my social media sales system. Maybe I've had people who have come through, I wouldn't know this really, but that didn't really like me, but they like were bought into the system and they needed the system. I've bought from coaches before that I wasn't, like we weren't vibing, but like I trusted their system. And so instead of trying to get people just to like you, have this system that people talk to and it becomes a lot easier to sell. And then skills. This is where most business owners post like, what are your skills? If you're a business owner, like how do you help people? What do you do? What's your specialty? So VEMS, vibe, experience, methodology, and skills is how you post like a business owner.
I think that's epic. I remember the first time we got in contact. I think I found you through TikTok and we spoke. You're like, hang on, so I'm going through some of your books. I like a lot of that stuff, which I like. There, you're like, yeah, we think alike. And then I'm start going. Okay, we think alike. I start going through your stuff as well. I'm there, like, okay, she's got aura. She's lit. She's really doing it, right? And again, the way I admire how you was going from mastery to systems, the way you started packaging, like a lot of stuff we might have said or say differently, but I started really, really learning how to package my mastery in a way that can be in a system that I can duplicate and is repeatable for people. And yeah, that's really cool, right? So when people see my one was Tim's, right? But I it was tribe, impact, monetization, and skills. But when I'm on live or teaching people, I always credit for you because I had them sort of like pillars, but I didn't package it in the way that it was. So, when some people who have be sent to you or whatever, like I say, yeah, this is the woman who I was able to start now packaging it in a way that, okay, cool. They're like, all right, he's got some sort of a method rather than just he's just anyone else. Like I think that's what makes you stand out as well. Like you've you've really made it your own, and people can see that. And I think it gives you an extra edge of not professionalism, but like if you take things serious, like people would take you serious. And I think you've credited off that for like huge, 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 huge.
Thanks for sharing that, Richard. Along those lines of like serious and like the systems thing, I'll tell you a secret, okay?
Man.
Ultimately, it might not be that good. Ultimately, I want freedom. Okay. Like I want freedom to go to my kid's soccer game. I want freedom to sit and look at TikTok. I don't want to be forced into working and making it feel like work. So systems allow me to add ease to my day. I don't have to think through it. Like I get to a podcast interview, for example. I used to not script my questions, and I used to use all my brain power and all my energy to come up with the questions I was going to ask people. And it took a lot of energy. But now that I have a plan and I investigate guests like you do, and I handle it really professionally, then you get to the podcast and it doesn't feel like work. And that's ultimately the feeling I'm after.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, talk to us about your $1 million Rolodex. Like, what's your perspective on
Oh.
what has to happen before conversion?
Yeah, so $1 million Rolodex. So I actually had to change that because I think that I'm like infringing on a situation. Rolodex is like a brand name. Like, have you heard of this Rolodex as a brand?
Not as a brand, only through you. Brother
Yeah.
asked,
Do you know what a Rolodex is?
it's for what I assumed, like, I've used Rolodex in the terms of like, if you can add something without taking away from your life, then this may be good for your Rolodex, like your catalog. Does that make
So
sense?
back in the day, okay, I don't know how old you are, Richard, okay, but before technology and Blackberries, which was like the very first like digital organizer of context,
Oh,
what people used to do was keep all of their contacts in this little flip book called a Rolodex, and this company created these Rolodexes. So anyway, I changed it to Million-Dollar Blackbook instead.
so
Here's a
that's
little tip for you. It's a better name anyway, you know what I mean? So this kind of harkens back my methodology around the Million-Dollar Black Book really harkens back to what we brought up before, which is around relationships, and where intention goes, energy flows. And so writing down your sphere of influence, all of your customers, your prospects, people like you that you can collaborate with, people who might know other people, people who can refer people. You start writing those down and documenting them and reaching out and making sure you're connected with them on social media. Watch the magic happen instead of, I don't, most people's gut feeling is, I don't know anybody. And it's not true. You know people at church, you know people in your life, you know people that you've worked with. The thing is, they're all buried in the back of your head. And so if you start writing them down, then is what will happen is you'll get them out of your head onto paper and then you'll be showering and remember, oh my gosh, I was on that committee with like five really great people 5 years ago. I should reach out to them. So we all know a lot of people. And so document that in your Million-Dollar Blackbook and then connect with them on social media and then follow the rest of my strategies to get more sales.
Yeah, that's brilliant. We're talking social media marketing at this stage, and yeah, just how you play that game to make sure that oxygen keeps pumping round this body of social media. I think is absolutely amazing. Speaking of social media, how do you think people perceive you?
Perceive me?
Yeah,
Whoa, that is a really fantastic question, Richard. Okay. And I'll tell you why. Because before I went on the trust, I thought most people like me. I'm like, I'm a pretty likable person. I even went and did the filming and left all of that. Well, all the house guests, but two actually really liked me. I think the other two liked me, but I kind of made them mad because we got along really well. And then, things happened. But ultimately, I was like, oh, I'm a pretty likable person. And so then we get home, we wait 9 months, the show airs, it trends #1 on Netflix for over 3 weeks. Okay. And my social media is filled with hundreds and thousands of comments and DMs. And straight up, Richard, half of them think I should burn in hell. And the other half really, really like me. And it was very difficult. Like, I couldn't tell if they liked me or they hated me. Like, I would have to hold my husband's hand and be like, okay, it's time to check the comments. And half of them would be, you are the worst person on that show. I really hated you. And the other half would be like, oh my gosh, you're just like me. And so I had to come to it was really interesting. So first of all, I had to come to terms with that not everybody likes me, okay? But second of all, the more interesting point is that all of those people saw the same 8 hours of TV that I was on. And based on the comments, it was very obvious that the people who didn't like me, I reminded them of maybe their girlfriend who broke their heart, or their mom who they weren't getting along with, or I had maybe the one eyebrow look triggered them in some way based on some trauma they had in the past. Like, it was pretty obvious. And so ultimately, only 50% of people are going to like or hate you. You got to like get your mind around that. Even a landslide election in the States here is like, yeah, you got like 55%. Like, it is barely. So #1, not everyone will like you. You got to like work around that. But #2, okay, you cannot control how other people perceive you. And more importantly, you cannot guess how other people perceive you. And so you may as well just live your life and just like do it for you and from your integrity and how you want to live. So I don't want to skirt your question. I think I probably half of the people who come across me probably really resonate with me like you do, and the other half probably do not.
touche, touche. You've got to be all right with not being all right as far as everything was going on. At the end of the day, what matters is what you say about yourself when you're by yourself. I guess that's the most important. I'm
Amen.
I'm
It
putting
is the only reality that matters to me. It's like to anyone.
yeah, for real, for real, for real. So yeah, I love that. Okay, they said practice makes perfect, right? But if nobody's perfect, Linz, I used to think, why practice, right? But if we're going with, okay, we should be practicing, I'm saying becoming is more important than being. So tell me about decisions that you started to make so you start leveling up from the old you to molding this new you.
You ask really great questions. You know that? I appreciate your questions a lot. Okay, so the reason why I had to think about that is because I think I heard you say is that becoming is more important than being. Am I misquoting you?
Oh, you're good. You're good. Go on.
Okay, because I disagree. Okay. I'm sorry, Richard. I know this is your show. No disrespect. Okay. But I actually think being is more important than becoming. And I'll tell you why. Because I used to think it was about who I will become. And when I finally get to be on Netflix or speak to 1,000 people or have 15, 50,000 people on my email list, then I will have become. Or if I ran $5 million through ClickFunnels or whatever, then I will finally become. But I had a lot of those in my life and I like never became because I was always grasping. And so the real takeaway for me was when I understood personally that it was being. And so being the successful business owner, I already am like in my own way and where I can be in this time. I am that person and what I believed about myself, even though my external circumstances may not have been reflecting that back to me. That ultimately, and this comes from a lot of business failures, even, okay, like mistakes is that ultimately, regardless of what's happening on the outside, how I felt about myself, this is a good topic for us, how I felt about self and who I was being is ultimately how I can become who I want to be. Because it's about, I'll use this example. When you go to the gym in January, it is super, super busy because people are hoping to become healthy. And so then it all falls off in March because everybody never became healthy because they didn't even give it long enough. But if they showed up to the gym being the kind of person who was healthy and they considered themselves healthy, then they would make healthy food choices, they would make healthy exercise choices. And because they were already there, then ultimately those are the people who make it past March in the gym. And that's how I found myself as a business owner. I am being that successful business owner every day, regardless of my external circumstances for me.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Coming back to what you were saying about it's all about mindset, right? And being productive. You've got to see yourself as it is, in the sense of understanding your perspective. Like everything that we've seen in this world, it's happened twice, right? First, someone had to think about a chair, then there was a chair. So from that perspective, I I see why you disagreed and how you got your mindset in the right place. Well, I came from the parallel side. I'll give you my perspective is from okay, before like for you to start pivoting from where you was and now into digital marketing, now into your online business, if you was going through some stuff and you're seeing some success, maybe you start to see some stuff which interests you, and you go through that moment where you want to be accepted, right? And you can have results, or you can have excuses, but you can't have both. I didn't want to be telling people to you should be yourself and you should love yourself, like because this version of you might not be able to do what's required. This version of you might not be able to get through what you're this version of you might not have the skills necessary. So I used to come from the angle like you should not fall in love with who you are. You should fall in love with who you have become, because you then it opens the door for change. It opens the door that you can improve and things can be more favorable to you if you keep going in a direction of becoming rather than accepting what is. Like you are not your circumstances. You don't
Yeah.
have your circumstances, if that makes
Also valid. Yes, absolutely.
sense. So yeah, that's how I came from, like focusing on yeah, not for like I can't tell someone to fall in love with who they're being, but I will tell you to fall in love who you're becoming. So yeah,
Yeah, and all I'm saying is shorten that timeline and be that person now.
that makes sense to me as well. That makes sense to me as well. From the mindset perspective and having a vision instead of like operating on sight, it's important. You stay in the game
Yeah,
long enough.
don't believe, I found that like my internal perspective, my self-value, like it's like a mirror, right? So very business, like it's very easy to see this in business, how customers treat you, how you raise your rates, how you handle sales calls, is that my view of myself, all of that is a reflection of how I actually ultimately view myself. And so then the second I change what's inside, I should value myself more. I should raise my rates. Then, like a mirror, when I smile first, then the world smiles back. A lot of business owners wait for the proof and then I'll be that person. But ultimately, a shortcut is you be that person now and then just wait for a minute and it will reflect back to you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's almost I'm not sure what you think about law of attraction, but it almost fits that description very.
It's definitely right in there. It's right up that alley there, Richard. You know what I think of the law of attraction.
I gotta
Probably.
respect it. I respect your perspective because yeah, you've made it work and made it work for you.
What do
So
you think of the law of attraction?
have my I try to, you see, with laws, they don't have anything against anyone. So it's like I respect laws and the law of attraction funded. Like I respect the law. I respect may have broken rules, yeah. I've always kept the law, and I understand law doesn't care if you're pink, brown, white. Like if you jumped off a building, gravity doesn't care what you're up to, what you've done, what credentials. You're still gonna have the same outcome. So you're better off. If I found if you play with a law and you are on the right side of laws which can play to your strengths or a favorable outcome, then yeah, you might even surprise yourself. So I'm in between with the law of attraction. I understand that, it's not gonna happen by some cosmosis, that's a cultish, but I also understand of becoming the person so you can handle the energy that you seek in that sort of sense. Oh, let
Well
me plug.
said.
About to die. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, cool. We're back on. So, okay, now with you're making them sort of decisions. You're showing up on social media. How do you say content is king and consistency is queen? Talk to.
You got that all wrong, okay, Richard? I'm just teasing you. It is uh consistency is key. No, you were right. You were right. I was going to swip those around, but you're absolutely right. Content is king, but consistency is queen. And we all know who actually rules. You know what I mean? The queen.
I ain't gonna interrupt you. You come into this world from triple darkness. That's all I will say to That's what I will. I ain't gonna interrupt you. I know about the matriarch. I know about the.
Yeah, most business owners, this stop and start marketing, this I'm gonna do it because I feel like that I stop. It is hurting you, and it's hurting you with the algorithms. The algorithms aren't taking you seriously. Your customers aren't taking you seriously. Ultimately, you deep down inside aren't taking yourself seriously. And if you can beat the consistency game, it does two things. It number one feeds the algorithms and gives you enough information to actually start making high quality strategic business decisions. You have enough data because you're doing it consistently and you can track data and actually figure out what works. Like it's two pronged why you just got to figure out this consistency thing.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Makes sense. And for the record, the podcast guys, I'm not. I agree with her. Right? You don't come in. No one comes into this world without coming out of the portal. So I when I said I'm not gonna interrupt her, believe me, guys, or my viewers, I'm with Lindsay, right? I'm definitely with her. So you your second book come out was that in 2024 or this
Yes.
2024, right? Was an author always on the bucket list for you, and why the second book?
Yeah, there's going to be a third one. There's already a third one. You know, what I like, and you kind of already brought this up, is I like these systems. So I like to have the VEMS model, and I had the unlaunch method, and my mind kind of works very systematically, and I find that's how I can get the most results for my customers and get my ideas across. And so books are just a really natural way of being like, this is my new system, everybody. If you just use the system, then you can like achieve your marketing and sales dreams. And so my first book was The Click Technique, which was about email marketing and staying consistent in front of people. Then I have the Unlaunch Method, which is a really powerful strategy to generate more leads on social media. And so the third one's going to be I probably can't tell you. Actually, I will. You're the only one who knows. Social media sales machine. The social media sales machine.
Now the secret's good. Don't worry, it's safe with me and every single
Okay.
on the next.
And all of the listeners.
Yeah, and that is brilliant. You're about to score a hat trick on that. I think, yeah, books are an incredible way to download knowledge. I think they're the most. I think it's even as powerful, if not more powerful than God. It's in its holiest format. You can download information, and we've been able to do a lot because people have helped us with information and pass that down, so we don't necessarily have to start from scratch or go through as much trial and error. So yeah, I appreciate what you've done in that field, Lindsay. That's huge. That's absolutely
Yeah,
huge.
and you know the thing just from a marketing perspective with books, like Amazon makes it so awesome to like self-publish a book. There is, you know, in this digital age with AI and like all of this, there is something to be said for literally like seeing your words and your like you being confident enough in your authority and your methods to put it black and white in a book. I have a book, right? And so then you put a book on any of your marketing. There is just something in the human brain that is like trustworthy, authority, author. So a little, I learned this at my that very first mastermind I was telling you about. They were like, they talked a lot about authority building books, and it really struck a chord with me and obviously continues to. So write a book. That's my point.
Definitely on the cards in the future. And I definitely see impact in how you're saying it. See Eric Thomas after what he done his book, and it made him speaking of that authority, credibility, and they're
Yeah.
now charging 75K upwards, and he was able to do that because of the best-selling author and how yeah fitted into his profile. So I appreciate you guys who do it. You know, we've come a long way from tablets, from Moses writing laws on the tablets. Now we've got Lindsay doing freaking books. We need this stuff, man. So where we would not be if people are not putting down this game. So you don't make sure you get into Lindsay's world. She's putting it down.
You
She's
crack me
down.
up.
Also, you're embracing AI as well. I think it was one of the. It's a bit different to books, but yeah, you weren't scared of it as other business owners. So I'm wondering, like, what did you put into place to have like the best outcomes and results with embracing AI?
Oh my gosh, I love AI so much. You know, my AI of choice is ChatGPT. I call it Chatty. I love Chatty. Okay, Chatty is hooked at my hip, and it has made a big, huge difference for my customers. It's made a big, huge difference for just my personal life, everything. Like I was just dyeing my 13-year-old's hair, and nothing is more terrifying than dyeing a 13-year-old's hair pink because then if you screw it up, it's you know they're in middle school. And so you know, like my favorite ChatGPT story is I'm bleaching his hair because he wants it pink, and I'm uploading pictures to ChatGPT being like, how much longer does this bleach need to process? And it's telling me, like, it can really help you. And so my background is I went to college in information systems, so I did a lot of programming and a lot of computer work and marketing. So when AI came along, I was like, hello, how it has been a while, you know, and we implement that into the business. I use it all of the time. I view it as co-creation. It's like it's a reflection of me, but just like in a just a more put together way, in a more clear way. And we use it in the business. I'm so passionate about it. My view is it's moving so quickly that for business owners, you got to embrace it or you will be left behind. And it's not hard. It's a blessing.
Lesson. Yeah, your perspective on it is, and perspective can change everything. I feel like, that can drive performance 100%. But when you, obviously, you spoke about testing earlier on and putting information out there so you have data to alter, or adapt and refine. Have you tested the different accounts like 3.5? There's probably 4.5. Is one better than the other? Do you see any differences?
Yes, every version they release is better than the one before. So just recently, ChatGPT did an update for at 4, I believe it what it is, and it's images. So previously, like it's not so good at images or seventh grade geometry, by the way, but it's really good at images now. Like the images are really realistic. So I mean, because that's the thing with computers, right? It's just learning upon itself. Like it learns from its own data, and so that is exponentially better because it's getting all this data from all these users. Anyway, it's crazy. I don't even know where we're gonna be. Like my vision is even a year from now, you're gonna be on social. This is already happening for me. I don't know if it is for you, Richard, but like I watched some and like, is that a real person or is that like AI? Imagine what's gonna happen a year from now. It's gonna be crazy. So you have to adapt. You know, that's one of my benefits as a business. I have adapted a lot over the last 20 years and we just keep adapting. I like to call it the cutting edge and you know, it's one of my strengths. So AI, I'm all about it.
Yeah, the way that you teach and embrace it, and how you was also you used to talk about like making it like a team member, and the way that you would train it to like perform at a high level. Like you're saying, listen, you are the best chat. You are top performing. Use the most sophisticated copywriting. I was using it, but I wasn't like, yo, like imagine someone speaking life into you like that. I'm thinking the way ChatGPT must go to war with Lindsay went into
You
it. I
should
bet
see us, you know? You should see us. Are you using it like a lot? Like, what's your experience, Richard?
much better after you're like treating it the way you're treating it. Like, I think with AI, it's you've got to know how to, if you are aware of like thinking and how to think, so you can make it think to in a way that is going to produce the best results, I think you're going to be further ahead. It's not what you do, it's how you do it with AI. And I think that's where it put you in a different bracket. So, like, my perspective right now is with what you said is embracing it because we've reached the elbow curve, right? Like, in 10 years, like you said, it's going to be like, if for guys who are watching, elbow is here. So when I say elbow curve, it means we're going, guys, only straight up. The next 10 years, that she said, is going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. But I guess with that said, Linz, with in a bit of danger, are we heading in the direction where like Google or Microsoft Edge, right? The search engine can just simply incorporate it in with ChatGPT? Like, is there a danger? I see that CapCut is now in ChatGPT this week. Is there a danger of like how it can just simply be incorporated with it? Like, do you see any danger or?
Yeah, so I have a lot of customers that have been affected by this, which is you have really high search engine results. Then ChatGPT came along, like they're ranking for certain search results and they're getting a lot of money from that. Then ChatGPT came along, and now we have ChatGPT results in the headlines, okay? And so it's certainly mixing it up on Google for sure on one end, but get this, Richard. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? About 5 times in the last 2 weeks on my submit to contact form. How did you find out about me? The answer, ChatGPT.
Say what?
So and I already I knew this, but like I couldn't believe those 5 leads came in. So that means so people are talking to ChatGPT and coming to a problem, and ChatGPT is understanding them, and then it's recommending, and it's very similar to SEO results, but it's SEO for ChatGPT.
Yeah, that is it's basically an entity. Yeah, that is great.
Oh, it's going to overtake Google. Like I will go to ChatGPT any day over Google.
Yeah, I'd rather be on its side than against it.
And be nice to it, you know? Say thank you and please.
Wow, 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 wow. Hey, Lindsay, this has been absolutely great. And yeah, for anyone who's out there, like I said, things are always evolving. That's the only thing I can guarantee you, right? It's change, it's inevitable, right? And with that virtual reality and AI, it's here. It's not had its time because we still don't know how to want some stuff that we need. So it's here and it's changing the game. And when you're too early, you already know what happens. When you're too late, you already know what happens. Play to win, guys. Play to win. Lindsay, for someone who's listening to this, right, and they feel aligned with your message, right, and how you're crushing Instagram, they're seeing what opportunities can come from just content creating and how you got a Netflix and you've also got a podcast. If they think that they want to work with you, right, yeah, how can they do that, and what kind of entrepreneurs are you wanting to work with?
Yeah, so I work with, service-based business owner, anybody who really likes relationships and gets referrals from relationships, and you want to expound those on social media, and you're selling a high quality service. There's got to be trust and intimacy there. So lawyers, doctors, coaches, consultants, experts, speakers, real estate agents, insurance agents, like people like that who's people that I can help. And so I give a workshop. If you go to lindsayaCom/workshop, I'm always giving a live workshop. So go there for the next one, and I will teach you my 4-step system on how to generate more leads on social media, high quality sales on social media. So you can hit me at my website, lindsaya.com. Go to the workshop, lindsaya.com/workshop, and come and listen and I can show you the ways.
And workshops are good, guys. I've been to 3 of them, And yeah, I mean, you might find me at some more because it's like reading a book or watching a TV series. Like the first time going through something, you're so focused on getting to the end, you miss a lot of things. Now reading the book again or getting the information again, that stands. Whoa, I can do it's your brain wires and fires like different things. And like obviously I love Linz, I love the way she teaches, and yeah, life never stops teaching. So why should we stop learning?
Love it, Richard. Thank you so much.
Lindsay, thank you for being on the podcast. We're going to leave them details below. And guys, let this be the year that we get it together and get it all. Thank you.